Hello, my name is Jay, and today I want to talk about the release date for these 2080, 2080 Ti, and 2070 cards. And I actually have a lot of good points in this video, pretty much guaranteeing I would be willing to bet on that the cards will be coming out at the end of this year or later next year. And here's why I want to make these points is because, yes, there's a lot of people that are kind of really heavily waiting on these cards. And I want to make a point in that the graphics card prices, according to Nvidia, which is one of these points that I'm actually going to explain why it makes a difference, is supposed to come down next year, which leaves us at that point where we're like, well, what would make the graphics cards come down? And of course it'd be a new generation model. So you're sitting here and you're going, well, you know, these new generation models, what are they going to do? Well, hopefully they'll have some type of performance increase over these current cards that will make miners, which are the main force driving GPU prices at the moment, switch over to these new cards, leaving these old prices to kind of, old cards to have the old prices somewhat. So that kind of leaves us at the point where, you know, we've got this Nvidia putting this on their roadmap, stating this, saying this, and so now we got to ask the question, what else will make a big difference? And to be straight up honest with you, GDDR6, which is something that's just beginning production, is basically the most easiest way Nvidia can get some type of performance boost over AMD. And the reason why I say bring AMD into this is because their cards are pretty much more suited for mining. So if they could have some type of performance boost, in turning or in ampere, then we've got something that, you know, could compete with AMD in their mining, in the mining part. Now obviously gaming is different, etc. But just keep in mind is that, you know, if AMD can get ahead, I understand, or Nvidia can get ahead, that's what they're going to do, and that's why they're going to go with wait for GDDR6, which means that if it begins production now, we'll just assume that 3 months down the road, we have, you know, it starts production now, which I think it actually is, and it starts production now, and it takes 3 months or whatever to get enough of supply that they can actually start selling it without running out of stock all the time. And then we think about it from NVIDIA's standpoint. Well, NVIDIA's got to get all this RAM in here, then they got to go through and start, you know, designing it with it. It shouldn't be that much difficult, or that difficult to go through and just, you know, tweak it so you have a little, get that RAM in there. But think about it that way, they got to do all that stuff, which may take 3 months, not to mention assemble all these cards, build them, all that stuff, which may take 3 to like 6 months. And then we've got the board partners, which take anywhere from 3 to 1 month. So it really does kind of depend on, you know, of course, what we get. Now the board partners will want to go do some crazy stuff, and of course there'll be a deadline, some convention that will decide to, you know, have this big extravagant event, which all the board partners will make sure on board. So that really might be only 1 month, because NVIDIA might push the deadline earlier. Now, what we see from AMD is really pushing the Ryzen lineup, which we really have to see, you know, what if they decide to come out with another Vega series. I think it'd be a good idea, but I think also that they're really pushing the new Ryzen 2 CPUs, which are really nice gaming CPUs. So I don't think we'll see anything from AMD, and I think that because Nvidia's coming out with the new cards, which they will be, because they've obviously stopped production. So it's some time, I would say from June to next June. You've got a whole year pretty much that is going to be somewhere in there, and it's not going to be, as I said, soon. If I were to really pinpoint the date, it's probably December to January. It's probably somewhere around there. It seems about right. It might be pushing into March, but it's really dependent, as I said, on the fact of when this RAM and all those different processes complete, that will really make a difference on when we see, you know, these cards start rolling out. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. This is actually like the 4th time I've recorded this video. My audio is just not cooperating. So give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Sorry if I didn't please you. And of course, check out my channel for other cool tech-related things. Goodbye.